Unbelievable. Femke Bol's shocking tribute to Sydney McLaughlin Levrone that will leave you inspired. The world of athletics has always been a theater of speed, resilience, and breathtaking human performance. Yet, every so often, it gives us more than just records and medals. It gives us stories of respect, admiration, and the purest expressions of sportsmanship. One such moment unfolded when Femke Bol, the Dutch sensation of the 400-meter hurdles, delivered an unexpected and deeply moving tribute to her greatest rival and, at the same time, her greatest source of inspiration, Sydney McLaughlin Levrone. This tribute, raw, heartfelt, and shocking in its honesty, was not just about celebrating Sydney's dominance, but about acknowledging how one athlete can push another beyond her limits, forcing her to evolve into the best version of herself. In a world where rivalries are often painted as cold or bitter, Bol's words became a reminder that greatness can coexist with humility, and competition can bloom alongside admiration. In this 3,000-word narrative, we'll explore the backstory of their rivalry, the shocking elements of Bol's tribute, its significance for the track and field community, and why it left millions of fans across the globe inspired. The rise of two queens of the track. Every era in athletics seems to be blessed with a duel. Carl Lewis and Ben Johnson, Usain Bolt and Justin Gatlin, Florence Griffith Joyner and Evelyn Ashford. In the modern landscape of women's hurdles, two names dominate every conversation: Sydney McLaughlin Levrone and Femke Bol. Sydney's story is etched in brilliance. From her early teenage years, she was a prodigy in the United States, a girl who seemed born to fly over hurdles. Her dominance was established at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics when she shattered her own world record in the 400-meter hurdles, clocking times that seemed beyond human capability. She wasn't just winning, she was redefining the very limits of her sport. On the other hand, Femke Bol's rise had the texture of a fairy tale. Hailing from the Netherlands, a country not traditionally known for its sprinting dominance, Bol surged into the international scene with a graceful yet powerful stride. She wasn't just fast, she was relentless. Every race showed her hunger to close the gap on Sydney. By the 2023 and 2025 seasons, Bol had evolved from the promising challenger to a full-fledged champion in her own right, smashing European records and cementing herself as a household name. But even as Bol racked up victories and records, one shadow loomed large: Sydney McLaughlin Levrone. The Americans' times were otherworldly, forcing Bol to reimagine what was even possible. Rivals or mirrors? Athletics fans loved the rivalry. Every major final in the women's 400-meter hurdles became a headline event: Bol versus McLaughlin Levrone. Commentators hyped it as a battle, a clash of titans. And in terms of performance, it truly was. Sydney's dominance with sub-52-second runs was matched by Bol's steady progression toward those numbers. But behind the rivalry, there was something else brewing. Bol never saw Sydney as a rival in the traditional sense. Instead, she viewed her as a mirror, someone who reflected back the standard she wanted to reach. "Every time Sydney runs, she reminds me what is possible," Bol once said in an interview. "She doesn't just beat me, she challenges my imagination." This was the seed of the tribute that would later shock the world. The day of the tribute. It happened on a night when the track world least expected it. Following a major championship final, one in which Bol ran a season's best but still found herself second to Sydney, she stood before the microphones, her voice shaking not from defeat, but from overwhelming emotion. Instead of focusing on her own performance or dissecting where she went wrong, Bol stunned everyone by turning her moment into a tribute to Sydney McLaughlin Levrone. Her words flowed with sincerity. "I know tonight wasn't about me winning, but I feel like I won in a different way. Sydney, if you are listening, I want to thank you. You have changed me, not just as an athlete, but as a person. You showed me that limits are illusions, that we can always push further, dig deeper, and believe stronger. You are the reason I keep fighting, keep training, keep dreaming. Without you, I would not be here. You are my greatest rival, but also my greatest inspiration." The stadium fell into stunned silence, followed by an eruption of applause. This wasn't normal post-race talk. It wasn't the polished media-friendly comment athletes often deliver. It was raw. It was shocking. It was Femke Bol laying her heart bare. Why it shocked the world? In an era where sports headlines are dominated by controversies, ego clashes, and off-track drama, Bol's tribute felt like a thunderclap of authenticity. It shocked the world for several reasons. Rivals rarely praise each other so openly. Athletes often speak in guarded tones about their competition. But Bol's words didn't just praise Sydney. They elevated her to near-mythical levels. It came after a defeat. Losing often stings too much for athletes to show vulnerability. Yet Bol used the moment of loss to highlight her gratitude, turning defeat into something inspiring. It blurred the line between rivalry and friendship. Fans began to wonder, are Bol and McLaughlin Levrone rivals, friends, or something in between? What became clear was that they share an extraordinary bond rooted in mutual respect. The ripple effect. The tribute didn't end at the press conference. It went viral. Clips of Bol's speech were shared millions of times across social media. Hashtags like #BolTribute and #InspiredBySydney trended for days. Athletes from other sports chimed in, praising Bol for her courage to honor someone who technically stood in her way. Even Sydney herself responded with humility, posting on Instagram, "Femke, your words touched me more than any medal could. Rivalries make us faster, but respect makes us stronger. Thank you for being you. We are writing history together." The world collectively exhaled. For once, the story wasn't about who was faster. It was about how greatness recognizes greatness. Lessons from the tribute. Bol's shocking tribute carried lessons far beyond the track. Competition is not the enemy. True competition pushes both athletes to their best, not by tearing each other down, but by lifting each other higher. Gratitude magnifies greatness. By openly expressing her appreciation, Bol showed that vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength. Sportsmanship is timeless. Medals fade, records are eventually broken, but respect between athletes endures forever. The human side of legends. Behind every stride, every finish line, and every gold medal are human beings. Sydney, despite her world records, has faced doubts, injuries, and the pressure of expectation. Bol, despite her incredible rise, has battled nerves, setbacks, and the constant question of whether she could ever topple Sydney. The tribute reminded fans that beyond their superhuman performances, these two women are human, driven not just by rivalry, but by connection. The legacy they are building. Whether Bol ever surpasses Sydney's times, or whether Sydney continues to dominate for years, one thing is certain. Their rivalry will go down in history as one of the greatest in track and field. But it will also be remembered for something even greater. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.